We're going to go down here to the Mixolydian, which I'm going to call absolute mode number 5. And by me knowing it's the 5th mode, and I know that the 1, 3, 5, the 1, 4, 5 are major chords, I also know that they are major modes, both chords and modes being defined as major or minor based on the 3rd, except for the weird Locrian that also has a flat 5th. It's basically a minor with a flat 5th, right? But I know that then this is going to be a major mode. So what's the different interval on this one? Well, it's only going to be the 7th over here, which has a minor 7th, which is kind of the bluesy thing. That's why when you think about a bluesy kind of thing on a major blues as opposed to a minor blues, then you're usually thinking a 1, 4, 5 kind of progression. Most people actually think of it kind of like you're playing in this shape, which you're kind of often thinking as like a minor shape, a pentatonic shape oftentimes, rather than all 7 notes, and then you're like bending into from the 3rd to the minor 3rd to the major 3rd, and then possibly throwing in a leading tone to go back home, which would be here going back to the G, which would be playing around with the minor 7 to the major 7. So that's kind of weird though, but you can also think of it as though you're in the major scale, like G major, but you're basically throwing in a flat 7 and then playing around again with the minor 3rd versus the major 3rd. But if you replace obviously the 7 from a major 7 to a minor 7, you are basically playing a Mixolydian mode. So you can basically call it a Mixolydian mode. Now, of course, when you go from the 1 to the 4 to the 5, there's the question of are you gonna play the 7, the dominant 7, or the major 7, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to get into all of that now, but that's going to be the general idea. So this is a very popular kind of mode, even though people might not actually say all the time that they're playing in Mixolydian mode, because they're going to say I'm playing in some kind of major blues, and they might be thinking of it as though they're just tweaking the pentatonic scale, or they might be thinking of it as though they've got the major scale and they're just kind of throwing in a flat 7, right? And so there's multiple ways that you can kind of think of it, but one way you could think of it is the Mixolydian. So that means that if you learn the Mixolydian here and you play it, you're basically playing in G major, a G major, often like a bluesy sound if you want to throw that in, which might not be the most popular bluesy key because a major blue sometimes is easier to play in an E, because then you don't have to reach as far with this reachy thing, or you might play in A major, right? So because that's nice, easier to reach a little bit on A major if you're reaching up, up the guitar like 5 frets out or so, something like that. But G is going to be in our shape here when we learn an A minor. And so if you can learn and stretch out your fingers to play this Mixolydian, especially like this stretch, get your pinky out there on the G, then it'll be easier than any other note, because it's easier to reach up there if you're playing an A major. And you're playing in E, you don't have to do it so much, because you get it's kind of cheating. You've got that open E. So that's going to be the general idea. So we're learning the intervals around this G note right here. And so we did the perfect first, we did the 2-note away major second, we're now on the 4-note away major third, and then we have the 5-note away perfect fourth, which is the same in a major and minor. Typically we've got the 7-note away perfect fifth, which is usually the same in the major and the minor. We got a 9-note away major sixth, which is equivalent to what it's in the major. It's usually flipped in a minor mode. And then we have the distinctive minor 7, which is unusual for a major mode. That's the distinctive note. So that means that this F right there got shifted back. And that means that, see, it's not a leading tone. Most major scales have a leading tone going home, and this one doesn't, which gives you that tensiony feel, and it allows you another note that you could add as a leading tone to go home, just like we do in a minor scale oftentimes, just to add that note to give you, it's out of key, but it gives you a leading feel. Okay.